أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما. We started with lesson 6 of Unit 2, that is Jussive particles, Al-Huruf Al-Jazimah, and they make the mudare after it majzoom. Okay, can someone tell me what are the Huruf Jazimah? These are the jussive particles that makes the mudare majzoom. Li, la, lam, lamma, and in. Li is should. We already covered in our previous lesson. La also we have covered, that is do not or should not. And lam is did not or was not. And lamma is sometimes not yet, and sometimes its meaning is when. And in is if. So when any of the above words precede the mudare, that is present or future tense, the verb will end with a sukoon instead of a dhamma. Okay. And we also covered about wal and fal. That is actually li. Okay, li sometimes come as li yaktub. It gives the mudare majzoom, and you can see it directly, like yaktubu becomes yaktub. But sometimes if there is a huruf or a word before it, then the lam will have a sukoon over it. So instead of li, it's gonna be wal or fal. Like it's gonna be wal yaktub kitaban, and he should write a book. Fal yaktub kitaban, so he should write a book. So I have included wal and fal are also the one of the jazima particles. Okay, li, la, lam, lamma, in, wal, and fal. And we have covered the charts and how it makes the mudare majzoom. And mashallah, some of the sisters have submitted their homework. The difference between the lam and lamma. Okay, the negative particles lam and lamma share certain features in common. The first thing is they show distinction of tense, and the second one is they must immediately precede the verb. And lam comes only with mudare and changes the mudare to madi, only the meaning. Okay, and lamma, it comes with both madi and mudare. So that is the difference between lam and lamma. Let's take example of lam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. So what do you see here? What is the jussive particle and what is the effect of it? I told you the lam, it changes the meaning of it. Ya'lamu. Ya'lam is actually mudare, right? And it changes into the past tense. Not he knew. Okay. Allama al insana, taught man what he knew not. Okay. That is one of the characteristics of lam. One more example is alam nashrah laka sadrak. Nashra is like the mudare, the meaning would be he does yaf'alu, right? It's he does or he will do. That's the meaning. But here he expand, sorry, nashrah should have been we expand or we will expand, but it is we expanded, it's in the past tense, right? So anything in the past tense is madi, right? So that changes the meaning of mudare to madi. It will not become madi, only the meaning changes to madi. Like ya'lamu is he knows or he will know. That is the meaning. But lam ya'lam, he knew not. That the meaning is changed to past tense. Is it clear? Alhamdulillah. الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. This is Surah Kahf. Hope you all read every Friday. So ولم يجعل, يجعل becomes يجعل مجزوم, and the meaning is and not has made. Right? This is the meaning has changed to madi. Okay? In it, any crookedness. And then we have kiltal jannataini atat ukulaha walam tazlim minhu shay'a. Again, Surah Kahf, walam tazlim. Because of lam, tazlimu becomes majzoom, and he did not wrong. Okay, the meaning is changed to madi. يَجْعَلْ كَيْدَهُمْ فِي تَضْلِيلٍ. He did not make their plan go astray. So lam yaj'alu becomes yaj'al. He did not make, right? So that becomes the meaning is changed to madi. Now we have the examples of lamma wa akharina minhum lamma yalhaqu bihim. So now tell me what is happening about lamma and what is very good, mashallah. It makes the mudari majzum by dropping the noon. Asibtum an tutraku walamma ya'lamillahu alladhina jahadu. Okay, so ya'lami is actually there is a temporary kasra here. It was ya'lam. Okay, to join it with Allahu, because no two sukun can come together in Arabic. So ya'lam, And then while not, again this is not yet, and while not, this is the meaning of lamma. Walam yattakhidhu, we have lam, yattakhidhuna becomes yattakhidhu because of the Jussive particle. Lamma yadkhulil iman. So lamma is there, and because of that yadkhul becomes majzoom, and the meaning is not yet here again, lamma. And then we have la, do not or should not. This we have already covered in our previous lesson. Li also we have covered, imperative particle, that is lamul amr. And lam is did not or was not. It comes only with mudare, okay? And this is used for forceful negation of an act which never happened or was never done. And it forces the meaning to become negative and madi and past tense. The meaning will change to madi of lam. Okay, so whenever you come across lam, you have to always remember it only comes with mudare, and it changes the meaning of mudare into madi. Okay. Lamma is also a negation particle. If I say lamma yadkhul, which means he hasn't entered yet. And lamma comes with both madi and mudare. But there's no effect on madi. It doesn't make any change to madi, but only makes the mudare majzoom. When lamma is followed by mudare, the meaning is not yet. But when lamma is followed by madi, then the meaning is when. So when you have lamma and you look at the translation as when, then you should know that it is followed by a madi. For example, we have lamma sami'at. So what do you see after lamma? Past tense, right? Sami'at, right? So this is third person feminine singular. Here, sami'at. So when she heard, and look at the translation of lamma, it's gonna be when, and it's not gonna be not yet. Not yet is only when lamma is followed by mudare. Is it clear, everyone? Alhamdulillah. Then we have falamma ra'aynahu. Then when they saw him, right? Ra'ayna is fi'l madi. That's why lamma, the meaning is when. Sometimes you also see lamma as an acceptive particle. Okay, that is not huruf jazima. And these examples are in kullun nafsil lamma alayha hafiz. Okay, in this example, the lamma is not followed by mudare or madi. But after this, what do you have? Right? Alayha. So and look at the translation. It's but, right? And it's but. And it says exp, that is acceptive particle. Okay? So sometimes lamma comes as an acceptive particle as well. Look at this ayah. وَتَأْكُلُونَ التُّرَاثَ أَكْلًا لَمَّا. What do you think? What type of lamma is this? Is it fi'l madi or mudare, or is an jussive particle or acceptive particle? What is it? Lamman. It's a noun. Aklan lamman. Okay, this is sifa mausuf. Okay. So I've just brought like different types of lamma which are mentioned in the Quran. Now let's move to wal and fal. So I was talking about you. Sometimes you see fal and wal that also makes the mudari majzoom. It was supposed to be ya'buduna, but because you have fal before it, it becomes ya'budu. But this fal is actually li. This is lamul amr. Okay, li ya'budu. This was li plus ya'buduna, li ya'budu. But since there is a fa before it, if there's a fa or a wa, it's going to be fal or wal. Is it clear, everyone? فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So fal, so let them worship the Lord of this house. Then we have يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, O you who believe, اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَلْتَنظُرْ نَفْسٍ. Fear Allah and let look every soul. So what is the huruf jazima here? And what is it making to the mudare? Right. So it's wal, right? Wal tanzur. Now, fal examples we have fal yanzuril insanu mimma khuliq. So we have fal, yanzuru becomes yanzur. This is temporary kasra to join it with al insan. فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Again, Surah Kahf, we have fal yu'min, and then we have fal yakfur. Okay? If there is a word before it like thumma, or that lam will still have a sukun. Thumma yakfur. Or if there's any word that will makes the lam sukun. Now let's move to in, that is double acting conditional jussive words. These include particles and nouns. They can act on two different imperative verbs, changing their moods into jussive, that is making the mudare majzoom. But they can act on other words too. The conditional particle in, which means if, it's like if I say, in tadrus tanjah, if you study, you succeed. So in is placed in the beginning of the conditional sentence, generally followed by two mudare or more, and it makes both the mudare majzoom. Okay, and we are going to learn in detail about this conditional particle in our future lessons. For example, we have Surah Anfal. وَإِن تَعُودُوا نَعُودُ. So here what is happening? There are two mudare after in. تَعُودُونَ becomes تَعُودُ, the noon drops because of in. And there's also one more mudare that is majzoom because of in, نَعُود. Okay, but if you return, we will return too. So it will make the multiple mudare after it majzoom. Okay. Now, in comes in four ways. That is in it comes as huruf jazima, which makes the mudare majzoom. This we have already covered with different examples in our previous class. Let me take more examples. So in comes as huruf jazima, which makes the mudare majzoom. For example, in yadharu alaykum yarjumukum aw yu'idukum fi millatihim. Now tell me what is happening. What is in doing to the mudare? Very good. So in it makes the mudare majzoom. Okay. In yadharu, the noon drops. Yarjumuna, the noon drops. And aw or has come. And then we have yu'idu, the noon is dropped here as well. And then we have amanu in tansurullaha yansurkum wa yuthabbit aqdamakum. Meaning is if you help, Allah will help you and make your feet firm. Now we have the second type of in, that is in followed by illa. It comes as negation and there is no change to the mudare. Listen to this carefully. In followed by illa. Okay, in followed by illa. This will come as negation. The meaning will no more be if. It's going to be not. Okay, and it will not change the mudare. It will not make it majzoom. Okay. فَقَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Then those who disbelieved said, minhum, among them, in hadha illa sihrum mubin. Not is this but a clear magic. So now is a huruf jazima. So now we learned in is if, right? When is in translated as if? Only when it is followed by a mudare, and if that mudare is making it, and if that in is making the mudare majzoom, then that in that situation you will translate in as if. But when you have in followed by illa, then it is translated as not. Okay, in hadha illa sihrum mubin. Not is this but a clear magic. Okay, one more example we have qalu. They said in antum illa basharum mithluna. You are not you are but a human like us. In what is in translated as here in this ayah? Not. Why? Okay, so whenever in is followed by illa, it's going to be translated as not. In ana illa nadhirum wa bashir. Now tell me what is happening. What is this ayah? It says, not am I except a warner and a bearer of good tidings. So now what is in translated as here? Not, right? Because in followed by illa is translated as a negative particle. It's a negative sentence. كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم إن يقولون إلا كذبا. Again, Surah Kahf. So we have grave the word that comes out of their mouths, not they say except a lie. So in followed by illa, it is a negative particle. It's translated as not. Inil kafiruna illa fi ghurur. So this is Surah Mulk. I hope you all are reading Surah Mulk every night because it protects you from the punishment of the grave. Try to read it every night, inshallah, and try to memorize it. Inil kafiruna illa fi ghurur. So in followed by illa, not are the disbelievers, but in delusion. So we have in followed by illa. This is translated as not. ثم جاءوك يحلفون بالله إن أردنا إلا إحسانا وتوفيقا. So we have in followed by illa. It's translated as not. Not we intend except a good and reconciliation. إن يدعون من دونه إلا إناثا. Not they invoke beside him. Okay, now tell me what is happening here. In is followed by what? Anyone? In is followed. Very good. In you have illa, that is true. Whenever in followed by illa, that is definitely gonna be translated as not. But what is coming after in? What is yada'una? Mudare. So does this in make the mudare majzoom? Very good. Why is it so? Very good, mashallah. So in followed by mudare, if it is just in followed by a mudare, it will definitely make the mudare majzoom, and the translation of in will be if. But if in followed by a mudare, but it is also followed by an illa, okay, so then this in will not make the mudare majzoom, and the meaning of in is not. Is it clear, everyone? So yad'una, not the invoke from besides him, but female deities. So illa inatha. وَإِن يَدْعُونَ, the ayah continues, وَإِن يَدْعُونَ إِلَّا شَيْطَانًا مَرِيدًا. So إِن يَدْعُونَ, again, this in is not making any change to the mudare because it is followed by illa, and the meaning of in is not, and not the invoke except shaitan, rebellious shaitan. Okay. In attabi'u, again, in followed by a mudare, it is not making any change to the mudare because it is followed by illa, and the meaning is not. Not I follow except what is revealed to me. وَقُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ مَا هَذَا بَشَرًا إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا مَلَكٌ كَرِيمٌ. Okay, so in followed by illa, the translation is not. فَتُخْرِجُوا لَنَا إِن تَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ. So here we have, they then produce it for us, not you follow except the assumption. So in tattabi'una is mudare, it is not becoming majzoom because in is followed by illa, and the meaning is not. Now comes the third type. In without illa, sometimes as negation, but no change to mudare. Okay, this could be tricky for you because you have in and then you have the mudare, and you look at the translation and the in is translated as not. Okay, so sometimes in comes without illa, okay, but still the in is translated as not. Okay, for example, we have in kullu nafsil lamma alayha hafiz. Okay, so we have in, okay, and the meaning of in is not, and you don't see illa here. So sometimes in is followed by illa, and it is translated as not, and sometimes in is followed without an illa, and yet it is translated as not. So it is very important to look at the translation. Okay, so in is not every soul, but over it is a protector. Is it clear, everyone? In without illa. Then we have lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard in indakum. So we are here, we have to him belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth. Not you have min sultan, any authority for this. So we have in, and this is translated as not, and there is no illa after it. وَلَقَدْ مَكَّنَّاهُمْ فِي مَا إِن مَكَّنَّاكُمْ فِيهِ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ. So, and certainly we have established them in what not we have established you in it, and we made for them. So here we have in, and this is followed by fi'al madi, and then there is no illa after it, but it is still translated as not. One more example, قُلْ إِنْ أَدْرِي أَقَرِيبٌ مَا تُوعَدُونَ أَمْ يَجْعَلُ لَهُ رَبِّي أَمَدًا. In adri fi'al madi, this is translated as not, and there is no illa after it. Last one is as inna, predicate, that is noun or preposition, are always preceded with a lam with a fatha. So in is like, it sometimes come as inna, and you see after that you have for emphasis lam. Okay, like innal insana lafi khusr. Indeed, mankind is surely in loss. So inna is followed by the lam of emphasis, lafi. Okay. Kalla innal insana layatgha. So we have inna is indeed followed by lam of emphasis. Innahu laqawlun fasl. Inna followed by lam of emphasis. Indeed, it is surely a decisive word. Inna batasha rabbika lashadid. Inna, indeed, the grip of your Lord is surely strong. Lashadid. Okay. And sometimes in also comes with madi, like inni akhafu in asaitu rabbi azaba yawmin azim. So indeed I fear if I were to disobey my Lord, the punishment of a great day. So in asaitu is fi'l madi, and in is translated as if. Okay, just see, in is if it is followed by mudari and making it majzum. In is not if it is followed by illa or not without illa. Sometimes that just the two meanings of in. In is if or not. That's it. It's nothing fancy, or you don't have to get confused or anything. Just look at the translation. It is sometimes translated as in, and it makes the mudari majzum, and sometimes it is translated as not. That's it. Okay. Okay, so let's start lesson 7 from Unit 2, that is accusative particles, al-huruf al-nasiba. Like how we have huruf jazima that makes the mudari majzoom. Like if you have yaf'alu, it makes li yaf'al or la yaf'al, lamma yaf'al, right? These accusative particles makes the mudari mansoob, which means it gives fatha to the verb. Like the accusative particles huruf nasiba are li, kai, likai, likaila, an, lian, Allah, hatta, and lan. Okay, li is so that, kai or likai is so that again, likai la is so that not, because it's likai la. An is that, so okay. The important points about the above chart is evident i'rab, that is fatha, are seen only on singular third person masculine and feminine, and on the first person singular and plural, like liyaf'ala, litaf'ala, linaf'ala, or li'af'ala, right? That is evident i'rab. And for all the other forms except for feminine plurals, the absence of noon indicates a fatha. The presence of noon indicates a dhamma, but the absence of noon indicates either a majzoom sukoon or a nasiba fatha. It has to be placed in the proper context. The examples of li meaning so that. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ليغفر ليغفر لك الله. Now tell me what is happening here? What huruf jazima or nasiba? What do you see here? If it was huruf jazima, it would have been li yaghfir with the sukoon on it. But this is huruf nasiba, li yaghfira. And then you translate it as so that Allah, laka for you, right? So that may Allah forgive you. Li yu'adhib Allahul munafiqeen. Now tell me what type of huruf nasiba or jazima do you see in this ayah? Because yu'adhibu becomes mansoob. Yu'adhiba. And look at the translation, it's so that Allah may punish the munafiqeen, hypocrites. لِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ. Now tell me what type of li is this? Jazima or nasiba? In huruf nasiba, it looks like the same thing as huruf jazima. But this li, it also makes the mudari mansoob by dropping the noon. So the dropping of noon is sign of sukun or sign of nasiba, mansoob. Okay, and how do you know? You have to look at the translation. Here it says so that you might not know the number of years. So it's so that it's if it was jazima, what would be the translation? Should, right? So it is not should here. So it is jazima. Is it clear? Note li meaning should, which gives a sukoon to the verb when it is preceded by a waw or a fa. Then the kasra of the li changes to a sukoon, like wal and fal, right? And he should do righteous deeds. Wal ya'mal salihan. Okay, you already learned about wal and fal, but the li meaning so that, which gives a fatha to a verb, is not affected by any word preceding it. It's not becomes wal or fal. Okay, it's gonna be the same. This li will make the mudare mansoob. Wali ya'mala salihan. And what is the translation? And so that he does righteous deeds. If it was jazima, the lam will have a sukoon. Wal ya'mal or fal ya'mal, right? So wal ya'mal salihan. And the translation is and he should do righteous deeds. It says wali ya'mala salihan. So this is nasibali. And the translation is and so that he does righteous deeds. The examples of likai, kai, likai, and likaila. Kai and likai is so that, likai la is so that not, because you have a la, right? So that not. Kai and likai is also so that. Kai nusabbihaka kathiran. So here we have huruf nasiba kai. Because of that, nusabbihu becomes mansub. So it becomes nusabbihaka. That so that we may celebrate your praise. Nusabbihaka. It was nusabbihuka. Because of kai, it becomes mansub, nasiba. Next, we have kai la yakuna dulatum bainal aghniyai minkum. So we have kai and la. Okay, because of that, yakunu becomes yakuna mansub, and the translation is so that it be not taken by turns by the rich among you. Next, we have likai la ta'saw ala ma fatakum, so that you may not despair over matters that pass by. So ta'sawna, the noon drops. Why? Because of the huruf nasiba likayla. Likayla ya'lama ba'da ilmin shay'a. So that they know nothing after having known much. So because of likayla, ya'lamu becomes ya'lama, that is mansoob. And the examples of an, li'an, and Allah. The meaning is an is that, and li'an is for that. Li is for, and for that. Allah is an plus la, that is may not. This will make the mudare mansoob, nasiba. And the examples are قُلْ مَا يَكُونُ لِي أَنْ أُبَدِّي لَهُ. So now, what is huruf nasiba here in this example? An is the huruf nasiba. An, because we're learning about anli, an Allah, right? An ubaddilu becomes ubaddila. Okay, it becomes nasib. Say it is not for me to change it. Wa umirtu an akuna minal muslimin. So what is huruf nasiba here in this ayah? An, very good. What is it? What is it making to mudare? Very good. Because akunu, it becomes akuna because of an, and I'm commanded to be of those who submit to Allah's will. Allah takhafu wa la tahzanu. So this is an plus la Allah, and takhafuna, the noon drops because of huruf nasiba Allah. So that you may not fear nor grieve. And the translation is so that. Okay. And we have Allah aqula ala Allahi illa al-haqqa. That I do not say about Allah except the truth. What is huruf nasiba here? Inna no. Allah. An plus la Allah. And aqulu becomes aqula. Because of the huruf nasiba Allah. Examples of hatta, that is until. And this will make the mudare mansub, nasib. Hatta yamiz al khabitha min at tayyib, until he separates the evil from the good. So yamizu becomes yamiza because of the huruf nasiba hatta. Hatta yalijal jamalu fi sammil qiyat, until the camel passes through the eye of a needle. So which is huruf nasiba, and what is it doing to the mudare? وَمَا يُعَلِّمَانِ مِنْ أَهْدٍ حَتَّى يَقُولَا. They did not teach anyone until they said. So hatta yaqulani, the noon drops because of hatta. Okay? And hatta tasta'nisu, until you have asked permission. Hatta it was tasta'nisuna, the noon drops because of hatta, huruf nasiba. The examples of lan, meaning will never, this makes the mudare nasib or mansoob. قُلْتُمْ لَنْ يَبْعَثَ اللَّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ رَسُولًا. So because of lan, yab'athu becomes mansoob, yab'atha. You said Allah will never raise after him a messenger. لَنْ يَبْعَثَ. And this will make the mudare into future tense. Okay, will never. It is always in the future tense, not in the present tense. Will never. Okay. So you said Allah will never raise after him a messenger. That is future tense, right? And then we have فَلَنْ يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَهُمْ. Now, so Allah will never forgive them. So what is happening here, which is huruf nasiba? And what is it doing to the mudare? And the translation is in the future tense. Always. Lan is always in the future tense. Okay? Because you know mudare, it can be translated as the present tense. He forgives or he will forgive. But if you have lan, the translation is always in the future tense. Allah will never forgive them. Allahumma la taj'alna minhum. Allah, do not make us among them. Ameen. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You will never attain to righteousness unless you spend out of what you love. So lan Because of that, tanaluna, the noon drops. Very good. فَقُلْ لَن تَخْرُجُوا مَعِيَ أَبْدًا. Say you shall never come out with me. So what is happening here? Lan. Very good. And the translation of lan will be in the future tense. You shall never come out with me. Okay. So note, besides changing the i'rab of the verb lan also limits the meaning of the verb from present or future to only future tense. It also indicates the firmness in negation. Okay, so lan, whenever lan comes with mudare, the meaning is always in the future tense and not in the present tense. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we are done with lesson 7, that is accusative particles, huruf nasiba.